What's up, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of the Just Chatting. I'm joined by Mr. Nix himself for the first time of what's actually going to be quite a few occurrences. How you doing, bro?
We're not in the same call. I can't even hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I was just giving you the bomb introduction, saying how I'm looking forward to casting with you all these weeks coming up. Of course, you're getting your feet wet now in the casting scene, starting to do quite a bit of work, eh?
Yeah, let's get it. I'm very keen to jump into the deep end and get some experience and get ready to get some content, you know?
No, awesome, man. It's been admirable to see how hard you've been working, and yeah, keep it up because you've definitely got what it takes. So let's see. We've got so much casting coming up, which is exciting.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's a bunch of games, guys. The Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5. That is the reason we are here. Nick and I, we've got a panel going at the moment between just the two of us. We're going to have a few guests coming up a bit later to chat to them as well and get their thoughts on the entire competition. And yeah, so this panel is basically just going to be a discussion as to what we can expect over the next few weeks and what we're in store for.
Yeah, and that includes like format, the teams you're looking at, the favorites, some of the dark horses, potential upsets. And yeah, I'm keen to just jump right into it if you're keen as well.
Yeah, 100%, man. So, first things first, there's been a crap load of CS that has been played over the past couple of weeks.
Definitely. What we love to see.
Yeah, since the beginning of the year, there's been 3 legs that have finally culminated, and here we are now towards the end of the year. Unfortunately, with everything going on, it means everything's been moved online. But hey, I mean, let's look at the positives and think of it's actually really cool that we're still able to have something even though there is a global pandemic. So that's a positive.
That's always sick about, like, in terms of the esports industry itself, we've seen it really flourish during these times. Obviously, all of us esports gamers stuff, we've been chilling at home all the time, whether it's Friday night, Saturday nights.
Yeah.
So we've been in our element. We've been able to flourish during these times, and it's really sick for the industry, and it's really sick for the content that we're ultimately putting out for the other people to see.
That's exactly it, man. So we've been really hungry for events over the past couple of weeks as well. I mean, we had the Predator Winter Slam not too long ago. We've got the Game Doc Cup coming up this weekend as well, which you and I are both going to be a part of. But this is the meat and the potatoes of the year. This is the Telkom
the
VS
juice.
Gaming Masters. This is like what's always considered the bread and butter of South African Counter-Strike. So heading into the end of the year now, this is pretty much the first big event that we've had this year. And we've got a lot of interesting storylines. But before we jump into that, let's first discuss the format here, because there's a 3-stage format that they've set up for this event. So yeah, it's not too complex, but there is quite a lot to it. So we'll walk through it and take it fairly easy. If you guys have any questions, please just drop them in chat and we'll just straight up answer. So first things first, there are 18 teams that are competing in this Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5. All 18 teams are then split into 2 different groups of 9 teams per group, okay? So you have 9 teams in each group now, which have been seeded based on how they got into the competition in the first place. And this is the group stage of the competition. As I said, there's 3 stages. This is the first stage, okay? And how the first stage works is this. All these teams play against each other in a round-robin format in best of 2 matches. And at the end of it, the team that comes last is eliminated. So out of the 9 teams, 1 team is not going to make it out of the group, and 8 teams are going to progress through to the next stage.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that, I love to see that we're seeing literally teams from, like, obviously the teams that were in the Premier Division.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing the teams that maybe didn't have the best luck in Prem, that have dropped out to First Div, and they're still able to be given this chance to prove their worth, not only in a league format, but in terms of battling out these BO2s. And I'm ready to see some exciting upsets coming up, and I'm ready to see some exciting Counter-Strike.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's exactly what I'm sure we're going to be having in store. So as I was saying, you're going to be having a nice integration, like you said. Actually, we're going to be seeing some teams from the second division and from the first division coming into this competition and actually being able to compete with some of the top dogs in South Africa, which isn't always the case. That's not always the thing. And actually, VS Gaming have decided to amalgamate the championship and the Masters, because normally there would be two separate competitions. But because of the global landscape, they've decided to actually integrate them. And so that's why we have one gigantic competition with 18 teams. And it's quite cool in one sense, because we get to see some of the lower teams. We get a nice spotlight on them, and they get to play against some of the top dogs in an official game, which is always a nice thing to see where you're at. You get to test yourself and sort of match up against them.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I especially like to see teams that have, like, newer teams that have really emerged over the past 6 months or so, and they're able to really sort of punch above their weights and see how they fare amongst the top teams in the country. And also, in terms of the newer teams and the underdogs, it's just experience. Experience comes in like levels for them, and just playing in a tournament like these against teams like they're playing against, it only does good for the team, even if they don't have the best time. Just the experience is something you can't buy.
I couldn't agree more, bro. That there's always that important, that age-old adage. If you're not winning, you're learning. So
exactly.
Yeah, you
don't take losses, you take lessons.
Exactly. There we go. That's what it's about. It's about taking something from the experience and learning. So, okay, we were saying 9 teams per group. Okay, why don't we pause there for a second and let's actually get a look at the teams that we're going to be having competing in this competition. So here are the full 18 participants. I didn't actually send you the link before this. Sorry, bro. If you want to jump on
I've got it. I've got it.
You're already on
it.
Beautiful. Look at how prepared this man is. Love to work with him. Okay, so these are the participants. These are the 18 teams. They all had various pathways into which they qualified for this event. And if we can just jump across to group number 1, we can then actually see how the groups are divided. So the first group is what we're seeing right now, and this is at the top of the table, probably the name that's going to remain at the top of the table once the game is concluded, ATK.
Oh, I love watching their Counter-Strike. Like, in terms of, if you want to put South African Counter-Strike on the map, these are the people that will be able to do it. Like, I know we've heard the wonder stories of the past, but ATK, they're new. Well, not really. They're up there now. They're top in the country. I think that's pretty much by unanimous decision. And I'm ready to see them tear up the competition, to say the least.
There we go. Well, we're going to be able to watch it once again. I think this is like the first big event of the year, so it's a big test for them. They've been beating Goliath consistently, the second best team in South Africa, but can they do it when it matters the most? That's the question we always ask about these teams, and we can test their authenticity, their legitimacy. Do they have what it takes to be championship winning teams? We're going to find out at the end of this one. So, ATK, they're at the top. Then they're joined by Nibble, Sinister 5, Royalty, Critical 5, Online Kingdom, Team Mist, Clutch Kings Vanilla, and I think that's Gamers Anonymous Clan, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah. I think the real dark horses coming into this group. I mean, we've seen how they've performed over previous tournaments. I think one that we can look at that just passed, the Game Doc Open Qualifier. We saw how they performed there. We saw how they really punched big with some relative like known names in the scene, and I think they can take a couple maps off of these teams, and it will be very interesting to see how that goes.
Exactly, bro. I'm definitely looking forward to it as well. Another name that we normally would consider as a dark horse is Royalty Esports, but I think maybe just because they've been proving themselves quite a bit lately, teams are actually aware of their capabilities.
Yeah, they're not much more as the underdogs anymore. They used to be, but I mean, now that they're really stamped their authority in terms of the big 6 or the top 8s in the country, we can really see that they can take, like, for example, a Sinister 5 to a third. They can take a Goliath. They can make those close games and energy. They can really punch with the big guys, and we're going to see how that will fare up in later on in the tournaments, especially.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it, man. So Sinister 5, another really important team to talk about as well, because
without a doubt,
they've made some changes recently, and it looks like those changes have actually brought into some pretty impressive effect. I mean, they already picked up a win over ATK in the best of 1 not too long ago.
Yeah, on train.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. I'm personally quite a big fan of Lately myself. Yeah. I think I think he's a great talent. I think he did wonders on DNMK. I
Yeah.
think his addition to Sinister Five as a whole, I think lately can really flourish there, and I think we're going to see some exciting stuff, especially with their experience that we see from Elusive in that roster.
Yeah.
We can definitely see lately going on leaps and bounds in that roster, and we're definitely going to see Sinister Five among the top dogs, definitely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, and I think it's such a big opportunity for lately as well to be playing under Elusive. You know, like there's not many people in South Africa who get that opportunity. So
Exactly.
we're gonna keep the analysis to a minimum now because we could actually go on for a long time.
Yeah,
if
we
wanted
could.
to.
Oh,
And
we
we've got
could
some,
talk until 10 o'clock.
yeah, we've got some guests who are waiting in the wings as well, so we don't want to keep them on the sidelines for too long. So just a few more
Especially.
things. So you got Clutch Kings Vanilla. These are my boys. You said you had your homies a bit earlier. These are my boys, Clutch Kings Vanilla. These guys go back a hot minute. You got the likes of Zin and Crick, and yeah, they've been competing in local Counter-Strike for a very long time. Let me just, yeah, I can't send a link, I don't think. That's probably going to get deleted. Anyway, I'll try help you out now, Nick Sage. So yeah, I'm keen to see how Clutch Kings are going to be matching up. I know Online Kingdom also have quite a bit of bark with their bite, so I'm going to be looking forward to see how they get to compete. But this is quite an open-ended group. So now that
Yeah,
we
without
actually
a
have
doubt.
the picture in front of us, let me just explain how the groups are going to work. Like I said, it's best of 2 round-robin format. The top 4 teams from each group are seeded into the winners bracket in stage 2. The bottom 4 teams, or teams 5 through to 8, so those 4 are then going to be seeded into the lower bracket in the second stage. The 9th team is eliminated from the tournament in stage 1. So that's exactly it. So top 4 teams, winners bracket. The next 4 lower brackets, losers are eliminated. There we go. There you have it. Let's have a look at group 2.
100%. I think Group 2, we got the big names. We got Goliath. We got Energy. We got Dynamic. I mean, like the top part of this group is stacked, and that goes all the way from 1 through to 9. I mean, there's some games which could literally go either way, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm so excited to get this rolling.
Yeah, I agree. I think this group is a bit more stacked. Like, pretty much only Prestige Clan and Adapt Esports, I feel like, are heavy underdogs. But there's some serious upset potential in this group, and predicting the top 4 is actually going to be pretty difficult.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we've seen XD with a couple changes, Hikasi with a couple changes.
Yeah.
OG have been together for a while now, so we're
Yeah.
going to see sort of things that come through that. And I think there's only a couple places which I can cement in. And other than that, I think we're gonna see some we're probably gonna see some unexpected teams in the low bracket. That's all I'm gonna say, Hayes. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Well, I mean, I was advocating today to have those matches made best of 3, so let's hope that that was a possibility. Otherwise, we're going to have some very unhappy campers. Nobody likes
yeah.
competing for their tournament lives in the BO1.
Fact, yeah, especially like BO1s, they can literally go either way. It depends who
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah.
And yeah, the vetoes as well. Yo, I could go on for ages about this sort of stuff.
Yeah, so just having having a look now quickly at the rest of these team sheets. I mean, most of these teams don't need much of an introduction, like you were alluding to. Dynamic, Goliath, Energy. I'm really keen to see Mango a part of that roster and seeing them
100%.
competing now that they've had a little bit of time together. And you
And I
said
can, yeah.
Go for it.
And that's the same thing with WRG. I mean, during the VS leg itself, we didn't see them with the addition of Custom.
Yeah.
And obviously,
point.
Custom's been around the scene for ages now. Lots of mechanical skill, but also just his experience comes in wealth. And I mean, his addition, we've seen our WRG have competed in the Game Doc and the Predator Winter Slam, as well as the Game Doc Cup. We're going to see WRG being a different force to be reckoned with in this VS Masters.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you've also got the re-addition there, meaning that him and Zio are back together. It's the age-old duo. They were like South Africa's hard-hitting power couple.
Yeah.
And then they got split up, and it was just like, sad day. But
yeah, it was a breakup for the South African scene.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, they're reunited now, so definitely keen to see how that plays out. So, what can we expect next? So those are the 2 separate groups, guys. So now that we've been able to explain those adequately, and everybody should be in touch and have a good understanding. Like I said, guys, if you have any questions, please just send it through in chat so I can explain it a bit more clearly, because it is a lot of information to take in. So that's stage number 1. Okay, heading into stage number 2. Like I said, there are going to be 8 teams from each group progressing. The top 4 teams from each group will be seeded into the winners bracket, which we might even actually be able to have a look at here. We can go to matches and then playoffs, and there we go. Perfect. So, as you can see, the top 4 teams from each group will be seeded into these winner bracket matches over here. The bottom 4 teams from each group, excluding the 9th team who are eliminated, will be seeded into these matches over here, and that's just how it's going to work. And that's it. I mean, you want to be in that winner's bracket, right? Because it just gives you the second life in the tournament.
Without a doubt, especially as we've said before, the BO1s can literally go either way. So there's nothing better than having that soft cushion of a BO3 underneath your pillow at night. And I mean, I know this is a long period we're looking at here. It's not like a LAN. It's not like one weekend and then it's finished. We're looking at a long, grindy period for these teams to work hard, and ultimately them being in that upper bracket, them having that second chance if things don't go the way they want them to.
Yep.
That's every team's dream going out of this group stage.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's important that we actually focus on that winner bracket advantage, because when you look at the first stage and it's like, all right, there's 9 teams in each group, but only one is going to be eliminated. It's like, okay, well, we don't even have to try that hard then. If I'm a dynamic or an energy, like not the top 2 teams, like someone below, it's like, oh, we're gonna make it through for sure anyway. But it's like, actually, there's a bit more to consider than just whether you're going to be qualifying for the next stage or not. You want to get in that top 4 so that you can ensure you are seeded into these winner bracket matches.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more, especially if you're sort of the top teams that are seen as one of the favorites. It's really not the time to slack off. I mean, any map you can take, any confidence you can get out of these group stages later on in the tournament is just gonna come in leaps and bounds, and it's just gonna serve you good.
There we go. So, the second stage, you progress all the way through. As you can see the brackets on your screen right now, at the end of it, you have 4 teams remaining at the end of the second stage. So that means we're going to have started the second stage with 16 teams, and 12 will be eliminated through the process, and only 4 will be left standing. And those 4 teams will then compete in the LAN finals at the online Comic-Con. So that I'm really looking forward to.
That is what we love to see. I mean, who doesn't love a good LAN? Who doesn't love a good LAN? Let's be honest. I mean, that's exactly what we're going to see. There's no excuses of these Johannesburg servers or these Cape Townians playing. There's no excuses there. It's all just who shows up on the day and who plays the better Counter-Strike.
Well, we're not going to have the LAN.
Oh yeah, fair. Sorry, that I got a bit ahead of myself.
That's okay, Nick. That's okay,
but, I mean,
man.
You know, it's the LAN in our hearts that's what matters. It's the LAN in our hearts that's what matters.
And also, it's gonna be a grind for all the players to be getting there as well. So it means we're gonna have the best of the best, the people who absolutely deserve to be there. So I'm really looking forward to that CS once we reach the stage. But like you've been saying, there's still so much till we get to that point. Anyway, we have been going on for a while, and I know we've got a guest who's waiting to join us. So is he available? Is he around?
Rusty should be ready to connect. So let me add Rusty.
What's up, lighters? The prize pool should be confirmed on Monday, so stick around for the announcement.
Sorry.
Yes. So hello. There we go. Is he with us?
With the disconnect there, but how's it, Rusty?
I'm good.
That's
How are you?
Yeah, I can't complain myself, eh? Sorry, the layout's gone a bit wonky.
Yeah, is your camera still on, Nick?
Oh yeah, I'll share my camera now. Sorry, that was a bit of an issue.
There we go. Cool. Back. There we go. What's up? Okay, so guys, we have now got Rusty joining us. He is a part of XD.
The XD prodigy. What we love to see over here on the CS scene.
There we go. Welcome, man. Me. How you doing, bro?
Thank you so much. I'm good. Can't complain. And yourself?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Thank you for joining us and being here.
It's a pleasure.
How are you feeling about this event coming up, man?
I'm excited to get into the games. Our bracket's looking hard though. Got stacked bracket, Group B.
Yeah.
So anyone can take that, but it's going to be a grind, and hoping to play. It's going to be fun.
100%. So Rusty, the first thing I wanted to chat to you about is obviously things didn't go as planned with Good Gaming, and now you find yourself in this XD roster. I just wanted to check in terms of roles, how have roles changed, things along with the team. How's that faring out for you guys?
So I was IGLing for Good Gaming, and then I came to XD. Wasn't gonna IGL, but there was a lot of roles, so now I'm IGLing for XD. So a lot have changed for me personally. New game styles, obviously in XD, and yeah, it's gonna be fun to play.
It's going to be an interesting time for you guys. And so I just wanted to allude deeper on that again. I mean, you said you initially weren't IGLing, and then was there any sort of other role you found yourself in? Were you just a lurk or?
Yeah, I was AWPing for a short time period for XD, but then things happened where IGLing wasn't, because the old IGL of XD was no longer part of the team because I came to replace, and there was big altercations with who's IGLing. Obviously, me being IGLing for XD, I mean for Good Gaming, I've got the experience of IGLing, so now I'm IGLing, and now we're playing a lot better CS. So excited to play this tournament.
That's what we love to see.
So, just I'm looking at your roster now. There's 6 players who are down. Who's the substitute?
Makma is a substitute.
So yeah, I mean, geez, that's quite a pocket rocket to have there on the sidelines in case
indeed.
he's ever needed. I mean,
Yeah,
he's always been South Africa's.
He's quite a beast in himself.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so then it's yourself, Beast. Speaking of Beast, KZR, Creation, and TJ or Enigma?
TJ.
Okay.
TJ.
Okay.
TJ.
So Enigma is also a substitute then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, a few of these guys have been in the team for quite a while. You know, TJ, Beast, and KZR. I think like the core 3. Creation also
indeed.
came in like fairly recently.
Yeah,
I think,
he played for Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he join the team before you?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Indeed.
So, all right. So,
I'm the newest addition.
Okay, and slots it into the IGL position as well. Hey, I mean,
indeed, yeah.
I mean,
You're the baby on the team.
Talk to me a bit about the challenge that you've had about coming into a fairly formed team and having to take over the reins as an IGL.
It's definitely tough. I mean, they've got their way of playing, and you've got to obviously. I've been calling for Good Gaming, and it's a completely different style. It's a more loose style, and obviously, I have to adapt to I have to call so they play the best of their capabilities. So I have to definitely change a bit, watch how they play. Obviously, play a lot of scrims, practice with them, and see from there, and obviously grow and understand how they play CS.
Cool. Yeah, I mean it's a challenge, right? I mean in South Africa, we don't have like many out and out IGLs.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
It's tough to like really make your mark on the scene, and I guess this is the best possible way to do so is coming into the VS Masters. And I just wanted to check in terms of at the XD camp, what are your sort of expectations coming in, and what are the goals that you set into this tournament?
Expectations, we want to obviously end our goal, since we have a lot of shuffles in our team and stuff. We want to end top 8 in the tournament is our goal, but also obviously make it to the upper brackets, the winner brackets, the upper bracket group A. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, planning to make it there. So yeah, we've been practicing a lot, and yeah, we keen for the grind, keen for the games.
That's what we love to hear.
I mean, I'm looking at your group right now. Let me actually just bring it up on the stream so that everybody can see it as well. I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion with the likes of Goliath. They should be topping the group.
Yeah, dynamic new roster.
Yeah, new roster. They've got Divo and Dweezil who came in recently. Yeah. I mean, we could talk about that for a while. I wonder how long, like if it's been enough time for them to like fully adapt to the new team. So yeah, there's some upset potential there for them.
Yeah.
Probably going to take a while before they get to like supersede where they were before. Energy Esports, like I would probably be a bit like cautious going against them. You know, with Mango Destroyed. That's a heavy hitty duo, and they're certainly capable. I think they're going to be like gunning for that top 4. And then outside of that,
it's anyone's game.
Yeah,
anyone's
super
game.
Competitive.
Yep. Yeah, WG looking good with custom.
Yeah,
I have to say that.
And then in terms of like your expectations of sort of like the prestige and adapt of this group, I mean, there's no need to underestimate them. Of course, they're here for a reason. In terms of going into games like that, what is do you just play your Counter-Strike? You don't anti-strat or anything, or do you just
You play
Go.
your game. You don't play to their game, because that's where it goes wrong.
100%.
So, yeah, it's all about don't underestimate them and play your game. That's it.
That's what I love to hear. I just want to see some good XD Counter-Strike, some good XDWs, and
You
I want
can
to see some
that.
upsets. I want to see some upsets. I don't know about you guys, but I want to see some upsets.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's why we
will.
play.
I mean, online CS. I'm pretty sure your wish is going to be granted, Nick.
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to see maybe Dynamic get O2'd by someone other than Goliath. That's all I'm saying. Maybe there's possibilities.
Yeah.
Never know how this is gonna go.
0-2.
Especially,
Wow, that's quite a. That's
I'm
quite
just
a
saying,
statement,
especially
bro.
with the way these vetoes are gonna go, my man. I just like you don't know what's gonna be happening.
We need to remember that these are best of 2 matches as well. There we go. As Lighters asks, so it's BO2 throughout in the group stage, and then it's best of 3s in the elimination stage. Bar the first round of playoffs in the lower bracket is supposedly best of 1, but I have suggested that gets shifted if they can. It could be like a time constraint sort of thing where they're actually just physically not able to do it, and then it's a different thing altogether. But we'll end up seeing. So, have you got Doobie on Discord, Nick?
Yeah, I've got Doobie.
Okay,
yeah,
so have you got him in line there? We just drop him a message and say we're going to be ready for him in a few minutes.
yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll let Doobie know.
Okay, so Rusty, before we let you go, man,
Yeah.
what else is there that we can pick your brain on? Because it's a privilege to have you here. So I mean, just out and out, I mean, this XD team, you guys been gelling nicely together.
I can say yes. Once I started gelling, we were struggling a bit, but ever since I started gelling, everything started clicking, bringing ideas from Good Gaming,
Okay.
bringing their ideas, and it looking good.
And then last one, what do you think about who the favorites are to win this competition?
Oof, definitely 80k you have to put up there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I would just say 80k, but you also have Energy, Goliath with Carney now,
Yeah.
and Dynamic, the new roster. So there's upsets there. Any 4 of those, I think, could take this.
Okay. Do you
And
scrim
Rusty-
against Goliath at all?
You not with me in the XD roster
Okay,
as yet. So
okay.
yes.
All right. So
You've just been called a noob in chat, Rusty. How does that make you feel?
Eesh. It is what it is, eh?
It is what it is.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining, man. It's been a pleasure
pleasure
to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how you guys are going to be progressing through the tournament, and wish you all the best, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much, Rusty. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, I should be able to pull Doobie in, yeah. Hello?
Hello.
There we
Hello.
go.
Is it all good, eh, Hayes?
Yeah, perfect. It's
Okay, sick.
working well, I think. Okay, so what's up, Doobie? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Yeah, doing good as well. Guys, for anybody who's not familiar, we've got Doobie with us now, who is the IGL of royalty, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
I
not
don't
the
have that
IGL.
bro.
Not the
Not the
IGL.
IGL,
Okay.
no.
Well, there we go. Failure of an introduction. So let's just scrap that. But you certainly are a player for royalty, and you've been a part of the team for a while now. You guys have had a couple roster changes. How are things going at the moment?
Things are going very good, eh? I think we've progressed really well as a team with the new players. They're all fitting in quite nicely.
Okay.
And then along with the addition of Leggy and EXE, we saw obviously Leggy being the Opry is we've seen God's Not Dead drop the AWP and him focusing more on sort of a calling role. Has that benefited the team, or would you prefer to see God's Not Dead on the AWP?
I think it's definitely benefited the team. Before God's Not Dead, before we even got the new players, when he was still open for us, he didn't AWP T side in any case. So having Leggy join in is a great addition. He's a I don't want to make chat mad, but probably a top 3 AWP in South Africa. So
That's quite a thing. Yeah.
he's a very good player. And Joshua's
100%.
rifles are not bad by any means.
So it's
I
sort of
think-
like a
okay.
trade-off that you've had to like come to terms with, in a way.
I honestly think it's just a plus. Like I think people think that it might be like quite bad, but I definitely think it's a positive for the team.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, you're forced to have the positive outlook, so I'm glad to hear that you do. But I'm keen to see how the results are going to be playing out. I'm going to pull the tournament sheet back up here on the stream so we can get a look. You guys are in group number 1. How do you feel about your group?
I feel very confident in
Yeah.
our group. The only team that is quite intimidating is ATK.
Sure.
Other than them, I think we can beat most of the other teams there.
Yeah.
Not going to be light.
No, we want to see the fire. We want the confidence, bro. I
We
want
want
you to
we want the
say
confidence.
how bad everybody else is and how you're just going to destroy them and
No,
wipe the
there's-
floors with them.
There's not a lot of bad teams in this group. I think Sinister 5 and OK are both good teams. The rest aren't too good, in my opinion.
Okay, I mean, there's a few like dark horses who I feel like are like capable of definitely finding an upset here or there. So yeah, definitely can't take anybody too lightly. Anyway, you did mention that ATK are the top of the pops. I mean, that's quite an obvious one. But outside of that, I definitely think you guys are in the better group, all things considered, because group number 2 is fairly stacked.
Yeah, no, group number 2 is very stacked with DNMK, Energy, and Goliath. It's quite a hard group, but to be honest, like no matter which group we were in, we wouldn't really drop out. As I think you need to win like two or three games to get through. So I know it's all according to like maps that you win, but no matter which group we were in, I think we would have gone through quite easily.
Okay.
That's what we love to hear. That's what we love to hear. And then I just wanted to allude to, you guys have obviously had a coach from the US, if I'm not mistaken, that being David. Especially with the new roster changes, how has David been able to benefit the team as a whole in terms of the expertise and experience he brings to the board?
Honestly, I actually think it's a lot more than people think that he brings to the table. David is honestly, like, he's enlightened me to how like CS should be played and just everything about CS. He was a crazy benefit. I would rather take David for a few more months, keep bringing him in for part-time coaching, then get a salary for like half a year. Like
Wow.
I'd rather use that money for.
That's super mature, dude. I'm so glad to hear you say that because it just shows me that people's mindsets are heading in the correct direction in South Africa, because you're in that like that up and coming team at the moment, and normally those are the teams who don't really pay much attention to the nuances of Counter-Strike and how important it is to actually get yourself and your team's game in a position where you can translate it into a successful competition against tier 1 teams, because often we just see these like lower tier teams just bashing the other teams because they've got better individual skill, and then they start playing the likes of Goliath and ATK and they just completely fall to the wayside. But because you guys are now going to have that extra depth and that extra backing from the coach, it's actually going to be allowing you to continue to be sustainable, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely think that David's input on the team has like made us want to have him more, because I mean the first time I had like a session with him, like he like honestly blew my mind. I know it sounds kind of like cringe and
No,
weird,
not
but
at all.
he literally like blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, like CS is a whole lot bigger than everyone thinks it is.
Yeah, I mean there's so much more to around and to the game than meets the eye.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
And just from what I've heard from David's sort of input, he's really brought util management and util usage to the forefront when it comes to high royalty, hold on to the util on both CT and T side. So I'm pretty sure that's something you guys have all taken on, and that's really put you ahead of the pack.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think even when I was in good gaming, our util on CT side was never too bad. Like I think the general community understands that you need to use your util and CT not too quickly and waste it, But on T side, he's definitely changed the way of thinking about it.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
And then looking at the other teams in your group, we got the likes of Nibble Conspire and Sinister 5, and obviously we've already alluded to the firepower that ATK have. But in terms of getting through a top 4 in your seed, what sort of confidence does it give you not having to play BO1s in the lower bracket, like maybe for the other teams that are fighting in and around that middle position in terms of trying to get through to the upper brackets and having that pillow to sleep on being a BO3? What sort of confidence does it give a team like Royalty going through
to play BO3s?
Yeah, well, that being the goal.
As it's set right now, if you place in the bottom 4 of the group, then you seeded into the lower bracket in stage number 2, and those opening matches are BO1s.
Okay, and then the bottom one gets knocked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the opening winning matches are BO3s, and then all the lower brackets after the first round are BO3s as well. So the point he's making is like, are you a bit concerned to place bottom 4 and then go into that like BO1 lower round bracket, or do you think you have what it takes to just secure the winner brackets?
I don't think there's a chance that we're gonna drop under the upper brackets. But
Yeah,
if we did, I think we would still, sustain and make it through. But I'd be a lot more confident being able to play the BO3s and
yeah,
not just lose one map to a team that,
yeah,
that's
because
a
that's
good map
capable
pool.
in CS. That happens.
Yeah, no, if it's a team that you're better than and they get just like the better map in the end of a BO1, it can be quite unfortunate.
It
Okay,
could be.
and what's your guys' goals and expectations for this event, bro?
Our goal is to finish top 4.
Wow, so like all the way to the third stage, Masters, Comic Con
Yeah.
Online.
That is our goal. And our
Okay,
expectations are the same.
nice.
That's some exciting stuff. I'm excited to watch some royalty action coming up.
Yeah. So
Very excited.
one last thing I want to just find out, because you made those roster changes fairly recently, you guys brought EXE and Leggy into the team.
Yeah.
And who you remind me, who did you replace?
Me.
Rockstar and Roger.
And Roger, yeah, yeah. No,
yeah,
the two. Okay, so
Yeah.
how have you? What are the main things you've felt that EXE and Leggy have brought to the team that you guys may have lacked before?
I think EXE has brought in big loads of firepower and determination.
Okay,
He works very hard. He watches his demos.
He's
puts
young,
in
right?
hours with the bots. Yeah, I think he's 16, 17, around there.
I mean, it's not often you hear the 16, 17-year-olds are spending their time watching demos, so that's really promising.
Yeah, no, I mean, David forces us to, so... Well, he doesn't force us, he tells us to.
That's a good thing.
But yeah, he definitely puts in his hours, and I don't want to be toxic to the players that we dropped, but they didn't really. And
Okay.
Leggy also has been putting in great hours, and honestly, Leggy's like raw AWP is just a huge plus for the team, in my opinion.
And how much control does he take on the team? Does he get like micromanaged and it's like Leggy K do this, or is he the AWP who's like, guys, I'm feeling this round, I want to go take a peek down banana sort of thing?
It depends on the situation, but Josh does let us bring out our own opinions, Josh's guys not dead, our IGL.
Yeah.
He lets us put our input in, and if he thinks it's a good idea,
Cool.
we'll be able
Well,
to
it's
do
good.
it.
Yeah, you never really want it to be one extreme or the other. It's really important to have a middle ground where everybody contributes and is on the same page.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, well, with that being said, I'm excited to watch some royalty coming up in the coming month and a half or so, and I think we can expect big things from this roster coming out of Group A.
So do I.
Okay, cool. Well, any final words there, Mr. Doobie?
Not really, eh?
Shout out to the
I think I've
sponsors.
said what I needed to say. Shout out to Nutritech.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Doobie.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck for the tournament.
Thanks a lot for
Alright,
joining us, man. Really looking forward to seeing how you guys progress, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Lekker.
Check you guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, so we've chatted to
Okay.
a player from each group, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how things fare out, and it's enlightening to see how people's different mindsets they are. And basically, I'm just excited to see the Counter-Strike in the coming month and a half.
Yeah, damn, me too, bro. I'm looking forward to it. So, to give everybody an idea of when they can expect the action to begin, we're actually going to be casting the first match on Tuesday next week, and that will be right here on this very YouTube channel. So subscribe now just to make sure that you get the notification.
Turn the bell on.
There we go, that's it. So yeah, next week Tuesday we'll be starting our first cast. Myself and Nick will be casting together for the first time, which I'm looking forward to. Should be quite exciting.
I'm so excited for that.
Me too, bro. Me too. So we still have some time here. So why don't we go back in and try and flesh out the team situation a bit more? Because we've sort of touched on the different teams in each of the groups, but I want to try and make some predictions here. I want us to put our necks on the line, bro. I want to end up as like clips and just say like, look how like dumb this caster is. Look at what he
Oh,
said.
look how right I am. Look how I don't get anything
It
wrong.
never works out like that, Nick. I'm going to tell you one thing earlier. But let me give you the cheat sheet, dude. It never works out in your favor, bro. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing these teams.
So group
I
one.
know there's some upset potential in group one,
Yeah.
but I think we both know who's top in that group.
Yeah. I mean, there's no two ways about it. When you look at these names here in group number one, ATK, they are by far the favorites. They're by far the favorites to win the whole event. They've beaten Goliath consistently over the past couple of months. I don't think they've lost a BO3 to Goliath in a while now. So yeah, they're definitely the big favorites. But that doesn't mean Goliath don't have what it takes to get the win over them. And also because
100%.
something I was saying a bit earlier, this is the big competition now. And there haven't really been any huge matches between these two teams yet. And I'm really keen to see when we get to that championship stage, albeit online, if ATK are still going to have what it takes. But they should top the group regardless.
Yeah, I think so. I think ATK have definitely got what it takes to possibly not even drop a map against these teams. I mean, it's always possible. I mean, we saw that they lost to Sinister 5 in a BO1. So I mean, the potential that we could see a couple draws come out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it is there, but again, I think there's a higher chance that they probably go 8-0 into this end of the group.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely as well. So we both agree ATK at the top of the pops. Let's try and predict now 2 through 4. So the rest of the top 4 in the group. I think it's fairly easy to say that Sinister 5 and Royalty are the next two favorites to both progress in the top 4.
100%. I can't disagree with you on that one. I mean, the way Royalty have been playing in the past weeks, we've seen fantastic Counter-Strike coming out from them. We've seen that they can really punch with the big boys, and I think it's definitely going to be close between Royalty and Sinister 5 for that second place. But I'm not being biased or anything, but I think Royalty can take that second place.
Yeah.
That second place spot.
No, that's nothing biased about that. I mean, they've got a crazy amount of firepower in that team. But the thing you have to remember about Sinister 5 is those guys have got some years behind them. There's a lot of experience in that team. And they're very clever about how they approach different games. They're going to understand Royalty is a relatively new team, and they're going to try and exploit them for that. They're going to definitely change their approach because they know the people that they're playing. I mean, Elusive is one of the smartest Counter-Strike players that South Africa's ever produced. So, yeah, you can never write off that team, but I agree Royalty might have the edge, but yeah, it's certainly going to be a good contest.
Just alluding to that again, I mean, we're seeing BO2s come out here, and the way the pick ban phases go, to my knowledge at least, I think Royalty's map pool sort of counteracts Sinister 5 in that way, because we see Royalty first ban Train, and to my knowledge, that's Sinister 5's best map, or one of their best maps. So I see that the veto could possibly, for a BO2 especially, go Royalty's way.
Yeah.
And I think Royalty could possibly edge out to Sinister 5 in a BO2 format, definitely.
Well, Nick, let me put down the money here, bro, because I've got some good news. That match is being played supposedly on the 11th of August, and that's next week, Tuesday. And
I don't think there's a better first game to get into.
I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that is going to be the match we're jumping into.
I'd love to see it.
8 p.m.
Love to see it.
Yeah, that's going to be a hotly contested game. Guys, don't take my word for it because something might change later down the line, but there's a very good chance that game actually gets streamed. So, definitely between Sinister 5 and Royalty Esports for that second and third position. Coming in fourth.
Now, I think this is where it gets a bit fuzzy.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Nibble Conspire, who have really shown in the legs during the VS Premier Division that they can take maps off the big guys. They can really win out those BO3s. But then we're looking at the likes of Online Kingdom they've got their new addition of Falls in the roster, especially because they've been in the first division the whole leg.
Yeah.
We can definitely see that fourth place could really go either way between Nibble Conspire and Online Kingdom. And if I put money on it, I'd have to say Online Kingdom probably edged that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed by what I've seen from Falls. He's been a pretty heavy-hitting player. They've also got, just having a look here, they've got Ruben, who's actually one of the more established IGLs in South Africa. He was IGLing for Good Gaming like throughout 2019, and he was doing a pretty good job of it. They had a few upset maps here and there, so that's a positive. They've also got Sheer in their team, and now he's been a player who's been around for quite a while, and he's also one of the stronger players in South African Counter-Strike, so definitely a lot of potential there. And then I'm not going to forget my boy Snufflin. He has been just there or thereabouts in the South African Counter-Strike scene for such a long time, and he's just got that capability. He doesn't have to work super hard. He's just a good gamer, so he can just like keep up with everybody else just off pure natural ability. So yeah, I agree
100%.
with you. I probably put Online Kingdom as one of my favorites to play as fourth, but I'm still sitting on the fence because I'm looking at the other names.
I mean,
Gamers
Nibble
Anonymous
Conspire.
Clan as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, like if we look at Nibble Conspire's roster, they've got the hard hitters like Mochmat and Frozen on that roster, and with Rogues as RGL, I think they can. We've seen what they can do in the past months, and I think literally between that BO2, between Nibble Conspire and Online Kingdom, it could literally go either way. And as you said, that GAC before, I mean, we've seen how GAC have performed in the past tournaments that GameLock have so kindly hosted.
Yeah.
And we've seen that they can also punch with the big guys. And I want to segue that into Critical 5. I mean, Critical 5, they made the change of minus Electrics and plus Clouds, and I think that's an exciting change to the roster. And I mean, possibly, maybe not fourth, but I mean, maybe they can take a couple maps off the big boys.
Yeah. I mean, there is still a benefit in placing 6th as opposed to 8th, even though you still get seeded into the lower bracket. You're going to supposedly, theoretically, get a better matchup because you're playing against a lower seed from the opposite group.
100%. So I mean, even if you finish 5th, I mean, finishing 5th has its own victory in itself, not finishing in that 8th position in the group.
Exactly. So I just want to go back to GAC. They also made a roster change recently where they brought Chappie into their team. I know they were looking for another player after NATO left. He moved overseas. So I think, I don't know if they were playing with like a sub or something in the game that I casted. They played in the Southern Lions Community Cup recently, which they won against Ex-Astros. And they looked solid, bro. Like Titan was hitting some really nice shots, jump a lot, really solid with the AWP as he's always been. And Zane Insane was also at the top of his game, so I feel like that is also one of the top teams with some serious upset potential.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you on that one. I mean, they seem, their common misconception is that they're playing the sort of puggy Counter-Strike, and I think we're going to see whatever comes out of them. We're going to see sort of what Chappie brings to the table on that roster, and especially the other 4 players. I think we're going to see some exciting stuff.
Yeah, I see. Frozen telling us he's going to be proving all of us wrong. I love it, dude. I love it. I want to see the fire. I love the self-confidence. But this isn't us doubting you or doubting your ability. This is just us.
We just putting our necks on the line.
Yeah, that's it. So, all right, Nick. That's. I think we've broken down the top 4 and maybe that like 5th and 6th slot. Let me ask you this, okay? And here you're going to finally taste one of the challenging parts about being a caster. Who do you think is going to be eliminated from this group?
See, no disrespect, but unfortunately, if I look at all the team sheets, and I just don't think Team Mist have what it takes. But I mean, hey, this is their time to prove me wrong.
No, I mean, it's nothing personal, Nick. This is something you need to understand. Personal. When you say to somebody that you feel like their team is going to be eliminated, you're not saying I don't like you as a person. You're not saying I think you're bad at the game. It's just like, considering this group right now, being objective, like you're probably slightly weaker than the rest of the opposition, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that Mist, they don't have the same names that the rest of these teams have, so it's going to be down to their teamwork, and maybe they are grinding, and that's great because we would love to see some upsets. But some
anti-shredding and
the predictions are that they may struggle. So there we go. I agree with you, Team Mist, but everything else, it's a super competitive group in like the lower end. So let's see.
100%.
Let's jump across to group number 2 now.
Oh, the group of death, as Latzes likes to call it, the group of death. Over here, I mean, there's names that jump out straight away: Dynamic, Goliath, Energy. I mean, I think this group, number 1 is pretty obvious to me. I mean, maybe that doesn't go the way, but I think Goliath Gaming take that number 1 seed.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think that Goliath should be the favorite, but Energy are going to be making it very difficult for them. I'll tell you that. They're definitely going to be giving them a challenge, I think.
100%.
Especially
With that addition of Mango,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can possibly see a possible grudge match coming out of the
Yeah,
boys. I mean,
exactly.
Mango leaving Goliath, and now he's in Energy with his brother and the rest of the boys. I mean, could see some lovely Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and I'm also Kani has come into the Goliath gaming team like fairly recently. Normally it takes about 3 months for a player to be considering himself established in the team, and even then there's still a lot more to work on, but to sort of have a ground value. So I think it's still a bit early for us to consider that this Goliath gaming team is going to be at the strongest they will be heading forward. But
100%.
I do still think that they have enough to top this group. And
100%,
like saying, please guys, as if there's even any
as if it's even a
competition.
discussion.
Yeah. I love it again. All right, yeah.
We got to bring it in. I mean, we saw obviously the dynamic roster changes that we've seen with the addition of Diver and Dweezil in that roster. I mean, dynamic also on paper, they're looking like a top team, and that's the same with Energy. I mean, that second spot once again, like we saw in the first group, the second spot again for this group is literally between any of the two teams that I just mentioned, Dynamic and Energy.
I mean, this dynamic team has made a bit more roster changes than Energy in recent times, so they're probably going to be a bit further behind in terms of preparation. But like you said, they've got the ability. It's just about whether they're going to be bringing it together on the server when it matters the most. Dweezil and Divo, the double Ds, everybody's favorite, are strong. They're powerful individuals. I wonder how long it's going to take for them to integrate into the team. And the main reason I have that query is because there was a core three in that dynamic team who had been playing together for a very long time, dating back to the Omnius Gaming times in 2019. And maybe even before. That's lately a Heartbreak and Nexus. And now that's been broken.
It's been broken up.
Yeah, it like totally, sends a bit of turbulence into the stability of the team. So it's going to be a while, I think, before they're able to heal the fissure and actually start reforming themselves, because they shouldn't be looking to now try and, slot like for like players, and they need to evolve and see this as an opportunity to sort of go further than maybe what their ceilings were before.
100%. They need to leave that old, in a way, OG roster behind and start with new foundations especially with the rebranding of Dynamic. And I mean, we got 5 exciting names in that roster, and I mean, they could, late on in the tournament with a bit more experience under their belts, especially being the 5 that they are, maybe we see them taking Goliath toe to toe.
Yeah,
they would obviously we'll only know that in a month or so time.
Yeah,
but it's definitely exciting stuff, especially on paper.
Okay, so the next team I want to talk a bit about, which we also did touch on earlier, is WRG. Of course, Custom came back into this team probably like a month ago, quite a while ago now. Like, wasn't super recent. And yeah, they're going to have, which means they're going to have actually had a bit of an opportunity to spend some time together and start establishing themselves as a roster. They've got a lot of potential. I'll tell you that much. Like, these guys they've got firepower combined with a good understanding of how CS should be played. There's a lot of experience in this team with Zio, Custom, Schneeks as well, 100%. Has been around for a long time. And then Spaz, who's like, I always joke about Spaz because he's like the most experienced young player that South Africa has, because he's actually been playing in like higher level Counter-Strike in South Africa since he was 16 or something. He joined Big 5 in like 2017. So yeah, he's so young, but when I see the name, I'm just like, he's an experienced player. So don't take that, don't get that twisted. So this team is dangerous, and just like Tool said, he sees them coming second. I think there is potential for them to actually have some proper upset potential.
100%, and I mean, as I've alluded to many times before, we've seen the roster changes that I have been able to come through after the normal legs that we see in the VS Prem division, and they were having to play with Narf, if I'm not mistaken. I'm subject to correction on that, but they didn't perform as great as they would have liked to in Prem. But now, with them playing with Custom, we've seen what they can do in the tournaments. Once again, that Game Doc hosted, we've seen what they can do.
Yeah,
and I mean, they can take a Dynamic toe to toe. They can take an Energy toe to toe, and I mean, we'll definitely see what happens. And I think they can definitely cause a bit of an upset, and possibly they are the bit of a dark horse coming into this group for maybe even that second spot, as Lats has alluded to. Maybe even taking that second spot. You never know.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We just say there's like this is the group of death, so we're going to be saying
Yeah.
potential and hypothetically
Potentially,
a lot
yeah.
in the segment. So just moving on, then we've chatted about the top 4 teams as they actually appear on the table right now. Heading into the next 5 teams, again, it's like super grungy because there's so much upset potential here amongst, I feel like XD and Ekasi Esports. Also, like really well-rounded teams. Ekasi had some forced roster changes recently. I'm not sure if that was like of their own accord or because EXE wanted to leave to join Royalty, but he left, and in turn they've also brought in a new player. So they're going to be not fully comfortable with their current 5, but it hasn't been an incredibly recent change. Just trying to see, they
Yeah.
brought in, was it who else? I think they brought in, or Electrics.
Yeah. Who else but me? I'm pretty sure got bought in there because,
Okay.
I mean, if I look at that roster on paper, I think Badger definitely can do wonders with the AWP, and Gemini being a strong RGL behind them. I
Yeah.
think Hikasi have what it takes in terms of, once again, I've said this many times, once
Yeah.
again, causing upsets, as
Yeah.
you said. But I think Ikasi and XD, as it stands, I think they're definitely sort of even in terms of skill level. And once again, outside of that top 4, it's a win in itself coming in that 5th place, going into those BO1s with the best possible seed.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it might get changed, so it's still
Oh
up
yeah,
for debate.
as you
We'll
said.
have to see. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I agree with you. Right now, everybody you play to the whistle, right? So you
yeah,
play expecting to go into a BO1 in that lower bracket if you're in the bottom 4. So yeah, I agree with you. Not a position they want to be in, but cracking the top 4 of this group is going to be difficult, man.
yeah, 100%. I
It's
agree
like
with you.
it's like so what do they do? Do they have the super heightened expectation? It's like, you know what, we're gonna gun for gold, we're gonna go for the top 4, and if we don't make it, well, at least we tried and it's okay? Or are they like, yeah, we gotta actually understand the realistic landscape of this group right now. It's gonna be very tough. We're probably gonna be ending up in that lower bracket, and maybe we can prepare for that a little bit better. Like, which mentality do you think is better?
Um, I think it's tough to say because especially coming in from like an XD, we've said this before when talking to Rusty. They're a relatively new roster, so I think I think it's a bit, no disrespect once again. I think it's a bit unrealistic to think that they can beat a WRG or they can beat an Energy going into these pool stages. So I think maybe it is a bit more beneficial for them to look a bit ahead and prepare for those lower bracket games. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's their time to prove me wrong.
Okay. Well, there we are. So
And then,
moving
hey,
on.
you asked me, huh? So I've got to ask you.
Okay. Yeah.
You asked me, so I've got to ask you, who is at the bottom of this group?
Oh man, okay, well, straight up off the bat, the 2 teams that sort of stand out the most for me are Prestige Clan and Adapt Esports, and that's purely because it's the 2 names that I recognize the least. When I actually
Yep.
go and have a look at their full roster, Prestige is Kirito, Fisher, Pixel, Think, and Supreme. So there's actually some players in that team. Like, Kirito's a god, dude, like, low-key, not gonna lie.
16K hours on that man.
Oh, for real? No,
For
like
real.
Kirito is really good at this game, and I've actually always been a bit surprised that he's never really ended up on a better team. So yeah, that's a kind of important consideration. Looking at Team Adapt, Xylem, SSK, Affliction, Bitten, and Void Clip. So yeah, probably. I mean, I recognize Bitten and SSK, Void Clip as well, but I feel like my gut tells me, yeah, I don't even know, man. This is straight up 50-50 between these 2 teams, bro. Like, I'm going to straight up sit on the fence here. I don't actually know between Prestige Clan and Team Adapt. I don't have enough info to make, like, a formulated opinion. What do you think, dude? Do you know these guys a bit better?
I'll be honest. I think the Prestige boys have got what it takes to stay alive in this tournament. I mean, we
Okay.
saw what they did during the Game Doc Open qualifier. They've taken teams to double digits that they shouldn't have
Okay.
theoretically on paper. So I mean, I think they can battle out and adapt and maybe even take a map off of like your OGs or maybe even an Ikasi. I mean, never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. I left Dark Legacy out. Sorry, bro. Like, there's a list of 7 names here, and I just assumed it was the first 5. Dark Legacy and Hypocrite or Miss are the other 2 players who feature for Prestige Clan, so just in case anybody was wondering. So then let us know, bro. What is the 5 that are actually going to be featuring Dark Legacy.
I'm pretty sure the 5. Like, look, I'm subject to correction, but I'm pretty sure the 5 are Split Second, Fisher, Pixel, Supreme, and Dark Legacy. Like,
Okay.
I am subject to correction,
Okay.
but I think those are the 5 that we're gonna see on in the server when the VS Masters rolls around.
Okay, so there we go. There we have it. Those are our predictions. It is going to be a crazy couple of weeks coming up, guys. Let's jump back to the webcam here as we start to come to our conclusion here this evening. It's been lacquer to actually chat about things and break them down a bit, and I hope that people have got a bit more of an understanding as to how things are going to be going over the next few weeks.
100%. And that being said, like, you guys can ask us questions over on Twitter.
Well, even now, just before we go.
Even now, just before we finish off, if there's any questions you got, drop it down in chat and we can kindly answer those. And yeah, I mean, basically, I'm just very much excited to get into the casting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I will be watching the games that take place even during another tournament that's going on now. I'm excited to jump into the Game Doc Cup this weekend and see how the teams are hitting form.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to see that BO5 final at the end of the day.
Yeah, me too. We've got a lot of stuff coming in store, and for anybody who didn't hear recently, myself and Nick are going to be actually covering all the games, at least up until the Comic-Con online weekend, and if I'm not mistaken, even then as well. But we will confirm that a bit later, closer to the time. But yeah, so we got a lot of Counter-Strike coming up together, which I'm looking forward to. I mean, we've got, if I'm not mistaken, excluding the finals weekend, it's something like 14 best of 3, 14 games in total. Of course, there's a few best of 2s, but yeah. Lots of CS, guys. So keep your eyes on the VS Gaming social media. Go visit the VS Gaming website. If you go under the tournament tab there, you can actually go and see all the matches, all the dates, everything that's lined up, all the tournament formats, and everything else you need as well. So that you can access that way if you like as well. Frank van Rienen, I think you might be in the wrong channel, my bro. This is Counter-Strike. Your boy Castaway, he's a Dota player. So yeah, he's still alive and kicking. Pretty sure he still plays for Sin 5. So you got that going for you at least. Anyway, anything last from your side there, Nick?
All I'm saying is I'm very much excited not only to be working with you, but to be watching these games that we got in store. Some big names, some big teams, some roster changes, and I'm excited to see what happens. And yeah, I'm very much excited to jump into things as soon as possible.
Okay, lacquer, bro. Well, yeah, much appreciated. I'm keen as well. I see Toph in chat. He made the bed only for you, bro. Only for you. He was in my last stream. He was giving me uphill about the bed not being made. So there we go. It's actually done now. You can rest in peace. So I'm not seeing... Can we see both groups again? Yeah, sure. Soma, let me get that up for you quickly, man, just so you can have one last look. We'll start with group number 1. Let me see if I can paste the link in chat as well. That would help. But it might get blocked. Okay, there we go, guys. There's the link in chat. You can actually access the tournament website yourself.
Yeah, and then everything's there. The teams, the schedule, and all stuff in terms of brackets and everything will be there for you guys.
It's really cool.
100%.
There's so much information on this tournament website, guys, so definitely access it. There's everything you need to know about the up-and-coming event as a whole. As you can see, it's going to be running from the 6th of August to the 27th of September, culminating with Comic-Con Online on the weekend itself. Guys,
the land in our hearts.
The land in our hearts. And, the online in our real world.
Yeah, fact. And one last thing from my side, just make sure you hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon, because this is where the games will be going live, is over on the VS Gaming YouTube channel. So you guys can double check over here on the schedule and then come check us casting some Counter-Strike.
There we go, guys. There you have it from Nick himself. Guys, you can follow him on Twitter at NickBart, or you can follow me, and you can follow me. You don't have to select one. You can do us both. I'm at Hayes Casting. Pump our numbers up, make us feel a bit better about ourselves. You know, that's how human happiness works. Social content, whatever. It's something like that. So guys, just as last thing, this was the first panel of just chatting. It's a VS gaming thing that's going to be happening a few times throughout the weeks to come, so we can actually just catch up and see what we've had. We're going to have one after each stage, Nick, so we can just chat about what we've had, what's coming up. So guys, yeah, we're going to be having a few more of these in the future. First broadcast is going to be happening next week, Tuesday. That's all from us this evening. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any further questions, hit us up on Twitter. Have a good rest of the night and stay safe.